So some people have it. You see them in a room or you see them in a crowd and they just take over that room. They take over the crowd, right? They have that confidence, right? Is confidence like the most unsinkable attribute that someone can have?
Yes, absolutely. It's an attribute that you can display, that you can exhibit without actually having. There's a lot of attributes out there that you need to actually have. Like, you can't display leadership without leading by example, right? Because if you don't lead by example, you're not a leader. You can't, exhibit creativity if you don't creatively solve problems. But you can absolutely put this persona of confidence on without actually having it. And the old adage, fake it till you make it. I mean, it's kind of silly, but it rings true. And I absolutely subscribe to that. Can
you fake confidence though?
Yes, I'm doing it right now.
That's awesome.
I'm going to let you know I see her because we've been pals for some years. I don't actually have confidence. I've just been faking it the whole time.
But are you sure you think you're faking it? Maybe you actually do.
Absolutely faking it, because every day I do some kind of blunder that makes me realize, oh man, I'm not this confident person. I'm a severely self-conscious person. I'm the kind of guy who goes to a movie, gets my ticket scanned, and they say, oh, enjoy the movie. And I say, you too. Damn. So I still have these very humanizing, socially awkward moments. But when I go into meetings, no one knows that I'm not confident. I just show up, I talk, raise my voice a bit, speak, project, and you can convince people.
But okay, you're saying you're faking it.
Absolutely, 100%.
Because you're consciously doing these things, but don't you think that that's an underlying confidence for you to do those things?
You start to feel it a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I start to think, hey, am I actually confident? But again, and then reality kicks in, and the awkwardness kicks in. I'm like, oh, maybe not. I don't know. But isn't
that like the fact that you're able to do it despite your being apprehensive and feeling awkward? Isn't that confidence?
No, that's just me being a good actor. I just see people do it.
It's a good skill set that he's learned, right? And again, in the situation, I guess when you're talking about confidence, is it a situation the way you carry yourself, the way you're dressed, the way you speak? People are going to automatically sense that confidence, even though what's being said is not being portrayed that way?
Yeah, I mean, look, you throw on a tie and a suit and people start to think, man, maybe this guy has got it together.
And it goes back to dress code.
But
so let's look at confidence in different layers. So you display confidence, right? Like subconsciously or consciously, right? You're doing it consciously, right? Yeah. How about you are just confident. You know you're going to win or you're going to be successful, right? You're going to get that job interview. That's I think subconscious. Something was instilled in you at a certain age that you have that kind of in your mind at all times, that I'm going to get it, right?
Maybe it was your parents loving you unconditionally.
I think it was. I think it could be, right? So, what other layers of confidence are there? There's that projecting the confidence. There's being confident inside, knowing that I'm not going to fail, I'm going to win. What other ways can someone be confident?
Ignorance.
Okay.
I think it's the Dunning-Kruger effect.
Okay.
People with low ability. Sometimes it gets changed to be low intelligence, but it can be low ability as well, because someone in a particular area who has low ability, say photography, for example, they overestimate their abilities because they don't know what they don't know. So they have a heightened sense of confidence because they don't realize there's a vast world that they haven't discovered yet. And in their small kind of pocket of what they've learned, they think, man, I really have this nailed down. And it's the same with all kinds of areas of life. If you don't know the vast world that's out there, you don't know a lot of what's going on. If you're the type of person who, writes inflammatory comments on Facebook videos.
About socks?
Yeah. and tax people for their woke socks, even though I am pushing my woke liberal agenda. you tend to operate with a heightened sense of confidence, right? And people with knowledge are kind of burdened with that.
That's true.
They know, the world is a scary place. They know of all the pitfalls that are lurking around the corner and all the financial hardships that they can encounter. With this knowledge, they tend to be like, okay, well, they tend to be a little more pragmatic, right? Whereas the ignorant person, they don't know. They don't know any better, so they're feeling great. They're confident.
Keisha, do you know when someone's confident? Like, can you feel it?
Yeah, I can. I think over time, the more you engage with them, you can kind of tell.
So you're dealing with a salesperson and they're very confident.
Mm-hmm.
Are you more likely to buy?
Because they're confident? No. It's not based on their confidence. It's based on whether I think, if you're bringing up sales, if I think they're BSing me or not.
Okay.
But I think like when you're interviewing somebody, and I've done, many interviews, I can sense their confidence. And
is it a turn on or a turn off?
No, it's a turn. I think it's a good characteristic. I want you to have, I want you to be sure of what you're saying. When I'm asking you a question or considering somebody for a job, I want you to feel like, know that you don't know everything, but display to me that you're confident that you can learn and you'll be able to execute on the things that you don't know.
But say they're so confident that they think they already know everything.
Well, then that's cocky. And I think that there's a difference between being confident and being cocky, where to me, confidence is knowing that you can do something and still being humble and open to feedback. And then
would you
there's
hire that
cocky.
person if they're cocky?
No.
Would you, Kurt?
It really depends on the role.
Okay.
Right? If they are so confident they're going to do a good job, why not?
I've been told I was cocky.
Okay. Now, how about, is that one of the key characteristics of a successful person, confidence? Or is it the number one characteristic?
It's up there.
Yeah.
You need to be confident, right? It just shows that somebody knows.
Even if you're faking it.
Be Patrick a little. But again, without it, people can sense it, right? It's almost, even with dating, right? I'm pretty sure if you go to somebody and they don't have that confidence, you're going to start questioning if this is somebody I want to be with, but versus somebody else who's speaking to you, looking you straight in the eye, giving you solid answers when you ask specific questions. Automatically now you're going to be more intrigued to continue that conversation versus somebody who's looking down and,
they can't make eye contact,
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it can apply in so many different ways.
But I mean, I wouldn't know when now I have to reevaluate, because hearing you describe that you're faking it, I would not be able to tell.
So I think in certain situations where you're kind of go on a date or meet someone, you have an important meeting, you're having an interview, you kind of set yourself up to show confidence, right? Even if it's faking it, right? And you mentioned the cues, like, are they looking in the eye? Are they talking to you directly with authority, being assertive? Some people have confidence, or you feel confident about someone, but they don't, have those same characteristics, right? Like they don't have the same kind of persona. Like, how does that work? Have you ever encountered that where they don't seem very confident, but when they're in the room or they're kind of handling a situation, or you just feel confident, okay, you know what, he's here or she's here, it's going to get done, or it's going to be done right.
I feel like it's not confident per se. I feel like they're just confident in how they're going to deliver the information to you. They know it. That's where they don't have a skill set with regards to explaining themselves. I feel that's why they lack the confidence. Not that they don't have the ability to do the job.
But have you been in a situation where they don't have the quote unquote traditional confident kind of skills, where they're not displaying the confidence, but you feel confident when they're involved, right? Have you ever had that situation?
They're competent.
Maybe it's competent, but it gives you confidence of them just because they're of the competence or the skill set.
If they're capable in what they do, and that instills confidence in you,
Yeah.
that's great. They maybe their job doesn't call for them to be sort of outwardly confident and present themselves as charismatic, right?
Okay.
And maybe their job is just doing their job well, and that's.
So how about in a situation where someone doesn't have confidence, but they know to get the date, to get the, to have the second date, to have, the phone call back after an interview, they have to display confidence, and they have to kind of fake it. What tips do you guys have on demonstrating confidence when you might not have it?
You're the expert here.
Have some. It's like before I came to the podcast today. I studied. I read the topics. I did a little bit of research. I thought of. I didn't think too much about like one-liners I wanted to drop, but that's the kind of thing that I would do before a date. I would have talking points. I want to touch upon this. I think this is a funny story. I definitely want to use this joke and see how it goes because it's kind of offensive, and I want to gauge her sense of humor and see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you prepare. You
Okay.
think about like, okay, how am I going into this? It's okay to have notes. Like some people are like, oh, don't overthink it. You can think a little.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do a little prep. So like, yeah, have something in your pocket to go on. And then just kind of be flexible in the conversation, see where it goes. You can kind of demonstrate that confidence. Sometimes you don't always get it back, but yeah, there's definitely some prep you can do.
Some planning.
Yeah.
Any last words on the topic of confidence?
I think for me, I do have confidence. I think it can be a quiet confidence. You don't have to be so outward with how you're displaying and demonstrating it to people, but it's just don't go in and stand like in the back of the room when you're shaking someone's hand, especially like in an interview. Give them a firm handshake, look them in the eye. When you're being asked a question, just maintain eye contact. I think those are just some of the little things that you can do in order to demonstrate confidence when you may not have it.